Oh, hey everybody, it's Thorfinn here, and today I want to talk about the new Agent CLOVE. Now, the first thing that I kind of want to talk about, and just kind of get this out of the way real quick, yes, CLOVE
Your
is
party sends
non-binary,
foot
but
across a fated
realistically,
expanse.
that
Secrets long
shouldn't
lost can surface through the shattered ice. The code
affect
is relentless.
comms and anything like
Roll
that.
to avoid
Uh,
frostbite. My ult is ready.
right? Because you should be calming based off of how many people are in a certain position if you can. If you can't, you calm by, well, even if you can't, you need to calm by the agent name because using pronouns at all to give comms is just a bad communication, right? Because if there's a Sova and a Phoenix on the other team, and let's say the rest of the team is like a Fade, a Sage, and a Jet, bad comp, but you get my deal. If you say like he is a, right? There's another person who uses those pronouns, right? Who they are applicable to. So it's just bad communication. You always want to call by agent name. So after that, right? I kind of want to just talk about the agent in general here, right? So one of the first things that I want to sort of notice here, right, is personally, I think that this actually feels bigger than Brimstone range, right? Like you can smoke here, you could smoke here, right? And you can basically insta smoke them. So let's end the game phase here so we can actually test out these smokes, right? It's the same premise as Brimstone smokes, right? You just boop, boop. But as you can see, these smokes are actually bigger than Brimstone smokes. They're actually Omen smokes, which allows you to, on a
Drop
map
in a
like
smoke.
this, right, on Icebox, to smoke deep, right? Which I think is a very key, crucial thing on Icebox. There's a lot of these chokes, right? As well as you can throw one-way
No
smokes, right? If
peeking.
you throw a smoke right there, come here towards Jenny, nice little one-way, right? Try to peek out wide. I think the best one-way for this though is more of like here.
Drop in a smoke.
All right, maybe if not a little bit different, but that's like the same premise, right? Like you can't see, like you have to swing super wide, right? One good thing to note as well is that these last, the shortest controller smoke in the game, right? So you kind of need to really be aware of that. So
Drop in a stick.
realistically, the best thing that these smokes are for are these fast, like sight hits to get on site extremely quickly. So you want to make sure that the timings of these smokes are super well placed, right? So on Icebox, for example, like one thing that I see some people do, like with Brimstone smokes, is you make a smoke wall here with these two smokes, and then you know everything else. So you have to make
Drop in a
sure that
smoke.
once you throw these smokes, you are committed to going onto the bomb site, right? Because if you aren't, these smokes come back every 30 seconds, right? So let me get rid of infinite abilities for a second here, right? So they come back every 30 seconds. Like here, I'll just throw it
Drop
here.
in a
As you
smoke.
can see, every 30 seconds, you get a smoke back. So the key thing to kind of use them as is like a they have a lot more versatility because they're basically a combination of Brim and Omen smokes. So very good for fast pops, but also decent for defaulting. You just have to be aware of the timings. Like honestly, in my opinion, I think that the shorter smoke time kind of can help in certain situations because it opens up angles for you to get posted on, especially like attack side opping or like getting aggressive on defense, right? Like for example, like you
No
could smoke
peeking.
here, post here with an op, right? You have like your jet or someone post here with an op, and then once that smoke comes down, right, you can repost onto it. You can repost into a different angle and things like that much quicker. Then we have the
Have one of
decay,
these.
which as you can
No
see, it's a
targets.
timer, right? So let me put on infinite abilities again. It's a timer,
One of these.
but it's a huge radius. So I'm gonna throw
Here,
it up.
catch.
Yeah, it's a big radius, right? So
Here,
like for
catch.
example here, it hits through walls as
Have one
well,
of
I do
these.
believe. But as you can see, like
Here, catch.
it'll just stick on the ground if it doesn't hit anything,
Here,
but it can
catch.
bounce, which is pretty neat.
Have
Um,
one of these.
Basically, like one thing that I think this works really well with is like comboing it with mollies, right? You can boop,
Here! Catch!
boom, and then just that guy's decayed. You can't really throw like too many lineups with it though, which kind of stinks. It's more of an
Up
on-the-fly
on it,
ability,
Eve!
which works for
Up on it,
this
Eve!
agent, but I think that it can be not as advantageous as something like a Fade Seized
Here! Catch!
or even like a
Here!
Viper Maul or something like that
Catch!
when it comes to like a fast decay
Up
that
on it,
does a lot
Eve!
of damage. Then you have the C, which gives you a stim, which we're gonna go into the range to test that out here because I have no friends. Um, but I'm pretty excited to kind of see how effective the agent can be in pro play because I think that everyone kind of knows that Clove is going to be good in ranked. I feel like there's a very like low chance that that you'll just see only Omen being played. Personally, I'm going to be playing Clove on stream tonight for sure. So let me just see if I can. That's annoying. Let me just hop into like a. I guess TDM would be the best way to kind of deal with ride these abilities. Um, So, as you can see, this isn't the most organized video, but it's because I have no one to record it with, and all of their abilities are fucking based off of dying or like killing people. So it's not great. But we're gonna hop on the CDM real quick. I'm gonna actually mute the audio so you guys can only hear me. And then as soon as we get in the game, mute every single one of my teammates. So we don't have any issues with that here. But so far, my personal impression and take on Clove is they are just a very aggressive, disruptive agent that I personally think has a very unique place as a controller because it doesn't give you the lurks, right? It's more of like I think they are more of a like brimstone, except it warrants you to be that second person out, right? Like if you're hitting a bomb site, I think your clove should be either A, going in place of your duelist, or B, on your duelist's ass as someone who is going in to trade, right? Kind of like a Reyna almost, I think, is really what you kind of look at as cloves, like a fundamental blueprint for how they should be played, right? Because Reyna should be a second person in, realistically, right? Because you have the flash to set up your first teammate going in, and then you have the ability to, as long as you do damage, right, or do damage to an opponent, you can get your heal off, right? So let's kind of see how fast you go. I know that it's pretty much just a brimstem, right, for yourself, but to kind of give you guys like an in-person calculation of what that looks like, I think would be pretty important. Let me just get a kill here. Let me just. Boop. Okay. Hold on. Let me just get a kill here so I can kind of. You know what I'm saying? I'm really rusty, by the way. I did not do any of my warm-ups. Boom. It's kind of fast. Yeah, this feels good. That I really like how this feels. How did I not kill that guy? Whatever. Yeah, and then the decay, like I said. So we don't have any armor, which means it's gonna drop you down to like 10 HP, basically. Oh my lord, oh my lord. All right. Yeah. So can this guy like not have armor? Anyway, so let me just talk about like realistically what Clove is gonna be in the terms of like meta, right? I think Clove is probably gonna be one of the most picked controller agents behind Omen. I think Omen adds more to your team, realistically. Like, right, Omen's flash is just kind of the only flash of its type. It's a large line, which is just not really replicated often in agent abilities, whereas Clove, right, like you have the Omen smokes the same size and it's rechargeable. Brim with the iPad, right, for fast acting smokes. You have the Overheal, which is a Brim stimmy, right, as well as like Reyna also has Overheal. And the Decay is kind of very similar to a Seized, right, except it doesn't really confine you into a space. But realistically, I think that like Clove can be good in a pro sense, but it's more of like finding a team that has the style of Valorant that suits Clove. Um, I think that personally, I would really love to see them played. Um, just like I really like their aesthetic. They have a lot of D&D references written in, so that's a super neat thing for me. I'm a big D&D nerd. Oh my god, I can't hit a shot, but you guys sort of get like the idea here. I kind of want to get the alt off before the end of this game, which is looking like I'm not going to be able to do that. So where's the alt thing? I think it's back over here. I can't remember this map. I don't usually try to farm for the alt orb thing. It is. Okay. Yeah, but like especially I think the decay is basically like an eco farming like very good for anti-ecos, right? Like you hit someone with this decay and they are just fucked realistically, right? Um, I think that the overheal as well isn't too strong. I think realistically the overheal could be better. I think the fact that it goes away, right, like that you lose the healing that you get granted from it, I feel like is kind of unwarranted, realistically. I understand that it's kind of a weird thing because you have to balance like uh you know, agent having a selfish heal that isn't on the duelist role, right? Which is kind of a very difficult like thing to do realistically. Um, there we go. We got to test it out, all right? So we use the ultimate. It seems very quick, so you have to really get out of that dismiss state. Extreme. Can this guy stop just like strafing, please? Just sit still and try to shoot me, you little Goomba. All right. You know what I'm saying? So I think Clove is going to be used a lot in ranked, but in pro play again, like I'm kind of just reiterating now at this point. Um, if you guys want to see a more like in-depth video on like their abilities, and I'll give you all of like the statistics on them, just let me know. But realistically, I think a first impressions video where it's the first day and I can give my insight to all of you can kind of give you a decent idea. And again, before this video ends, I want to say that I personally don't want to be a preachy person because I think that I don't necessarily have the authority on this topic. I'm not non binary. I know people who are non binary. So I don't have an authority of how those people want to represent themselves in the way of like how they want to deal with misgendering this agent, right? And how that affects them. And it's also probably just a person on person thing. But for those of you who think that the comms thing is going to be an issue, it's not. If you're comming correctly, you shouldn't be using pronouns to com with in the first place, right? I mean, yeah, I can understand that in certain situations it might give you some confusion, but most of the time you're going to be using they, them in reference to that specific agent, right? Like, for example, if someone asks you about Clove and then you use a pronoun in the sentence you're going to describe Clove with, that's going to be, you know, a they or a them situation. But most of the time it's just going to be Clove, right? Like, I don't talk about Phoenix, just addressing Phoenix as he right off the gate. It's most of the time a reaction thing when it comes to discussion. So just be nice, right? You know, if someone accidentally misgenders the agent, it's not from a place of malice, right? You can very clearly tell who are going to be the people who want to inflict harm with that and who are just people who are not used to it. And it's something that, they will get used to with time if you treat them with respect and dignity and give them a sense of benefit of the doubt towards this situation, right? So in the comments, I don't want anyone talking about this in a political way. Let's just respect the creators and the people that represent themselves as non-binary and be a nice place of just learning Valorant and spreading positivity. I think as a community, not only with people watching my videos, but people playing Valorant, we can tend to be very toxic and aggressive towards people that don't necessarily deserve it. So let's just relax. We're all, people on this earth. Let's just be civil and nice to each other and enjoy Clove for their abilities and their gameplay. And yeah, please leave a like and subscribe. Comment if you want more. I'm definitely going to make a guide once I find some tech for Clove, even though there's really not going to be a tech, more so of a video of explaining how Clove should be played and used. But yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope you guys get to enjoy this agent as much as I know that I'm going to. And have a fantastic day, everybody.